During his initial audition, Slater Nally left an impression on American Idol viewers with a heartfelt moment. He has since hinted at a major surprise he has in store for the audience in the forthcoming Mother's Day program. Recently, Nally also talked candidly about what it's like to compete against him on the show. During his American Idol audition, Slater Nally has won over admirers with his charming demeanor. He began the concert by singing a song he wrote just for the late son of a high school teacher who inspired him. Actually, he went to the audition with his instructor, Mrs. Davis. With his music choices, Nally has persisted in leaving an effect on audiences ever since. This has included tunes including Over the Rainbow, from The Wizard of Oz and Soulshine, by the Allman Brothers Band. But Nally has already hinted at another moment from him that would likely win over fans' hearts. He intends to compose the song himself as well, once more. Nally told Parade that he had to play cover songs on the show's theme evenings. He revealed, "I have wanted to do one since I did 2 original songs. However, we must ultimately rely on what they send us." The article claims that Nally is preparing his next original song for the Mother's Day performance. The event will capitalize on the fact that Sunday night is a holiday, much like the last Easter concert. He made a suggestion that he already had some unique tunes in mind. He acknowledged, though, that he wanted to feel it before singing it on the stage. During his time on the program, Nally acknowledged that he had competition from many talented people. "You have a lot of really talented people around here," he said. "Each person has a greater skill than the others. Because everyone here is so skilled, I've never been in a position where I couldn't determine who is the best. It will be really difficult for Americans to cast their ballots. However, one of the best things was learning that I was selected as one of America's top 10. Hearing that my music is being appreciated made me very pleased. Ultimately, that is what I have always desired." Nally also discussed the attire he dons for the program. He mentioned that he received money to upgrade his clothes when he made it to the live rounds. "I am a Georgia boy through and through," he wrote. "I spent my childhood hunting, fishing, and occasionally visiting the city. I've never really been able to boldly display my artistic abilities, but now that I have this platform, I can display the look that I've always desired. Funny, unique footwear and other items that will give me a unique feeling. But I'm loving every minute of it," Nally said as she wrapped up the session. "I'm overjoyed to be here. It's been amazing to see that everyone has responded well to my music, and I'm glad I can share it with them all." The smell of cinnamon and excitement filled the air in the Carver family's living room. The scent of Brenda Carver's well-known apple pie blended with the anxious energy emanating from her son, Slater, on Mother's Day. Slater, often known as Slater the Songbird, by his growing fan following, was a hopeful, American idol, whose deep voice and grounded appeal had won over millions of hearts. But this Mother's Day was not merely a family get-together. Fueled by his love for his mother and a desire to give back to the community that had come out to support him, Slater had been planning this surprise for weeks. With her silver hair gleaming in the sunshine coming through the window, Brenda, a lady whose warmth could melt glaciers, bustled about the kitchen. Unaware of the flurry of activity developing in the living room, she sang along to a traditional country song that was gently playing on the radio. Slater was finishing up their surprise with his younger sister, Maya, and their father, George. Slater whispered, "Okay, Maya, the banner needs to be just a little higher, so as not to wake their mother." They had meticulously created a banner that said, "Happy Mother's Day, Mom." Maya, a flurry of joy and energy, stood on a chair and carefully adjusted it. A tiny sound system was being set up by George, a guy of quiet strength and unflinching support. In order to ensure that Slater's surprise performance sounded great, he had spent hours researching and hiring the ideal equipment. Meanwhile, Slater was pacing. A flutter of nervousness replaced his typical stage assurance. Singing a song he had composed for his mother in the private setting of their house seemed far more intimidating than performing in front of millions of people on live television. Maya sprang out of the chair and said, "Calm down, big brother. Mom will adore it. You put a lot of emotion into this song." He was aware of her correctness. The song, Brenda's song, was a moving ode to his mother's steadfast love, her unending encouragement, and the innumerable sacrifices she had made for their family. He had weaved in memories of her strength building, her reassuring presence at difficult times, and her tucking him in at night. Brenda's voice boomed out as the front door cracked open. "I'm just popping out to the garden for a minute. For the pie, some fresh herbs are required." Slater felt a surge of terror. They weren't prepared. "All right, everybody, take your places," he murmured in a low voice. George retreated behind the sound system. Slater snatched up his guitar and inhaled deeply, while Maya scurried to hide behind the couch. With a bunch of aromatic basil in her hand, Brenda returned to the living room. She came to a complete halt. The space was changed. The banner glittered, pink and purple balloons hovered close to the ceiling, and Slater stood in the middle of it all, holding his guitar and grinning sheepishly. "Mom, surprise," he said, his voice a bit unsteady. The tears filled Brenda's eyes. With her hand rushing to her lips, she gasped, "Oh, my goodness." George and Maya smiled as they came out of their hiding places. "Happy Mother's Day, Mom," they all said together. Slater took a step forward, a wave of love and appreciation taking the place of his fear. "I wanted to make today extra special for you, Mom. Something to express my gratitude for everything that you have done for me." He inhaled deeply once again. "I composed a song for you." The first few notes of Brenda's song filled the room as he started to play. His voice, which is often so strong and booming, was given a genuine vulnerability that enthralled his three-person audience. When he questioned himself, he sang about her generosity, her tenacity, and her unshakable faith in him. Brenda started crying uncontrollably as he sang. She was listening to her son's heart, not simply a tune. She saw the young guy who was now pursuing his goals on a national platform, the adolescent who studied guitar until his fingers were raw, and the tiny child who used to sing off-key in the shower. After the final note faded, Brenda's gentle weeping were the only sound to break the stillness. After lowering his instrument, Slater hurried up to his mother and embraced her tightly. "Oh, Slater," she gasped, her voice full of passion. "That was the most exquisite gift ever." Holding her close, he said, "You deserve it, Mom." However, the surprise wasn't finished yet. Slater cleared his throat as Brenda brushed away her tears. With a note of enthusiasm in his voice, he remarked, "Mom, there's something else. You understand how much I enjoy performing for audiences and how much I owe my supporters for helping me reach this point in my career." With inquisitive eyes, Brenda nodded. With a playful twinkle in his eyes, he said, "Well, I wanted to share this moment, this song, with them too. And for all the wonderful mothers out there who support their children as much as you support me, I wanted to do something special." Then he disclosed his surprise, a virtual fundraiser for a nearby charity that offered resources and assistance to single moms, as well as a free live-streamed concert from their living room with Brenda's song as the main act. Brenda was taken aback. "You're doing this for everyone, Slater?" "Yeah, Mom," he answered with sincere affection in his voice. "Because Mother's Day is about more than just you and me. The goal is to honor all of the amazing mothers who changed the world." The revelation swiftly went viral on Slater's social media platforms in a matter of minutes. His admirers were thrilled as they were always curious about his life outside of the American Idol platform. Support, affection for his mother, and pledges to tune in were all over the comments section. The Carver living room was converted into a temporary performance space as the start time drew near. George operated the camera, guaranteeing a seamless live broadcast. Maya contributed to the fairy light background setup, which gave the scene a magical touch. Still crying, but full of pride, Brenda sat on the couch, prepared to be her son's biggest admirer. With a laptop open in front of him that showed the chat from the live broadcast, Slater sat on a stool with his guitar in his lap. He smiled warmly, his trademark greeting to his followers. "Hello everyone, happy Mother's Day," he said in a firm and clear voice. "I have a little something special for you today, and I'm here with my wonderful mother, Brenda." His enthusiasm was clear as he described the motivation behind the fundraising and the event. The conversation was full with heart-shaped emoticons and thank you notes. Then he started playing. His voice was mesmerizing and soaring as he sang a few versions of tunes his mother liked. His skill and the depth of his attachment to the song were demonstrated by the emotion that permeated every note. Of course, Brenda's song was the concert's high point. His love-filled eyes were fixed on his mother as he introduced it. "Mom, this is for you, and for every amazing mommy out there." His unvarnished honesty in singing struck a chord with audiences around. The internet audience sensed that he put his entire being into each lyric. The conversation was a haze of messages about their own moms, tears, and admiration. The digital applause was overwhelming as he concluded the song. The fundraising was quickly beyond its initial target, and the live feed had reached hundreds of thousands of views. Brenda blew him a kiss, her eyes gleaming. Over the course of the following hour, Slater engaged with his fans, fielding their inquiries and sharing anecdotes about his experience on American Idol, and the steadfast support he got from his mother and other family members. He talked on the significance of never giving up on your dreams, giving back to the community, and cherishing family. Not only was the performance a huge success in terms of attendance and revenue, but it also created a strong emotional bond between Slater and his supporters. It was evidence of the influence one person can have when they utilize their platform for good, the strength of familial ties, and the power of music. The smell of apple pie and the warmth of the shared experience filled the air as the Carver family sat together in their living room as the live broadcast came to an end and the virtual world vanished. Brenda grinned while holding Slater's hand. She said, "You know, honey, I always knew you were special. However, you showed the world today." Slater gave her hand a squeeze. "Mom, I only wanted to make you proud. You always do," she remarked in a loving tone. The Mother's Day surprise was a celebration of love, family, and the strength of giving back, not simply a performance. It served as a reminder that, despite the chaos of celebrity and national attention, our relationships with the people we care about most are what matter most in life. And the woman who had given Slater the songbird his wings would always be his greatest admirer. The surprise's success solidified his reputation as a gifted musician and a good-hearted young man who was using his newfound fame to spread happiness and change the world, one moving song at a time. Brenda Carver will always remember that Mother's Day because her son's light was brighter than ever, revealing not just his skill but also the love that had always guided him.